As always, nothing you hear on the Stripped Pod should be a substitute for personalised professional medical advice. Please always consult your clinician or other medical professional before making any changes to your diet, dosages, or healthcare plan.
Hello and welcome to the Stripped Pod, your weekly diabetes fix where we strip back the stigma for real, honest conversations about diabetes beyond the numbers. I'm Ash, a passionate diabetes advocate and founder of Strip Supply.
And I'm Braden, co-host of Out of Working Pancreas.
Co-host that can't stop laughing when I'm reading the introduction.
We were just talking about noodle recommendations, so I'm pretty keen to hear them.
Too much. Oh, okay, it was too much. Well, coming up on today's pod, it's part 2 of Partner Pod, where we hear from some of the unsung heroes of our diabetes community, your partners. And we're hearing from a very special partner today, and you're just going to have to wait and find out who. But first, Braden,
It's all happening.
It's all happening. What has been the high and the low of your week?
Look, first of all, I have an out and an in for you for this week.
Okay.
So out is forgetting to change batteries in insulin pump. That's gone. Right, we're not doing that anymore.
Braden, how is this still a thing? We've talked about
No,
this.
that's out. That's
okay,
out.
we're not doing it anymore.
Wait.
So you haven't done it?
No. So yeah, that hasn't happened.
Okay, great.
So that's why it's
Amazing.
out.
Fabulous.
I haven't forgotten, so it's gone.
Yeah.
But in is forgetting to put insulin in your reservoir, in your pump. So that's in today.
Arguably maybe a bit more dicey.
It's definitely a little bit more important. It's made today really challenging.
Tell us what happened. Spill.
I've eaten nothing is what's happened.
Oh my goodness.
No, not quite.
Oh, and I sat down here and I was like, well, I've just had my noodles. And you're
Yeah,
just
and
like,
here I
I'm
was.
starving.
I was like, I wish I could have noodles right now.
Oh.
Today's been a challenge. I got the alarm last night. I think it said like I had 24 units of insulin left. And I think I was half asleep, so I just silenced it straight away. And woke up this morning and just honestly completely forgot. Like, because I think I was half asleep. So got to work this morning and it was probably about 9:30 maybe. And my pump vibrator was like, you have 12 and a half units of insulin left. And I was like, cool. Like, there's nothing I can do.
This is like insulin budgeting to the extreme.
Literally, like I've been watching. So like I have the Medtronic app on my phone where it tells me what my level is and tells me how much insulin is left in my pump. And here, I'll just pull this up for you just to show you and everyone watching. So I'm 6.9 at the moment. Here's my graph.
Yeah.
So today...
Great graph today.
Great graph. Like it's never been better, to be honest with you. Oh, jeez, almost
Maybe
dropped the
this
phone.
should be your new strategy.
Yeah, maybe. So like that's 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And hang on, I don't know which way I'm going here. That might be the right way. I'm not sure. But anyway.
So for those
She's been
listening
green all
at
day.
home, yeah, Braden's been in range all day.
But that from where I had like 12 and a half units left, and I've got 3.5 left now.
Okay, so let's get moving. Let's get rolling.
So as soon as we finish up here, I'm going home. I'm putting insulin in and I'm eating because I'm so hungry.
Like a massive bowl.
I was about to have breakfast too because I eat breakfast at work. And I was about to eat it and I saw that. I was like, well, I can't have breakfast because I have yogurt and granola and fruit. So I couldn't do that. And my partner made me lunch for today, and bless her, like it's so nice. But it's a pasta salad with crumb chicken on it.
Oh,
And I was like, well,
it's a bit
I
hefty.
can't really eat that either. Yeah. So I got through the morning without eating, got to lunch. I went and bought a salad with like nothing on it, just a salad, just to have something. And now I've just been looking at all my snacks, and I've gotten to this afternoon and I've actually been like just craving food with like carbs. Like I just wanted to eat something.
I was about to say, I think that's called hunger, but yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, man.
So I got like a Coke Zero just to fill the void a smidge.
Yeah.
But I'm running on literally empty.
Fumes.
So,
Okay, so fasting is not for you.
No, fasting sucks. Yeah, so that's been a fun time. I've just had so much going on at the moment that I honestly just completely forgot. And I just had one of those moments. So what I've been saying today is do as I say, not do as I do, people, because I clearly can't do diabetes at all.
No, but hey, your insulin pump didn't run out of batteries today, right? So
No,
let's
no,
put
we're
that
good on the
down as a
battery
win.
front.
Yeah,
We're
batteries
good on
are
the battery
sweet.
front, but I could do with some insulin because I am hungry. But look, I still haven't run out, right?
That's right.
So I'm still, I'm still good, but I'm flipping hungry. I'll tell you that much. But look, apart from that, everything's been going pretty good. I got my flu shot today, so I got 5G running through me. Maybe that's given me a bit of an extra kick
I
today.
think that's it. That was the boost.
Yeah, the extra 5G running through my veins.
Mm.
But apart from that, what have I done? I had a great weekend. I had an engagement party on Saturday night, which was really nice.
Mm.
But like I was sort of just pecking on food all night and just didn't bolus again. So do as I do, don't do. Do as I say, not do as I do.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a lack of food speaking.
Yeah.
And I got home, my level was like 20, and like that's a bit up there. But yeah, engagement party was great. Went to the beach on Sunday, shocked to everyone, because the weather was beautiful up here in Brisbane for the first time in a long time. So had to make the most of it. So yeah, look, everything is pretty groovy up here. I do have a little sensor patch update as well.
Oh yes, please spill.
So my last sensor, which I changed last Friday, was I used the Type Strong patch.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you what, you could build a hotel out of those things, not just a house. Those things are so sticky and so strong. It is unbelievable. The only issue was, okay, in that time that I put it on, I went for a run, I'd been swimming, and I'd also been to the gym. So I'd been through a little bit, and it was still stuck on there real tight. But the problem I had was on Sunday afternoon, I got a change sensor alarm. So I was literally on there for 2 days.
Oh, so it hasn't been given a good test yet.
Yeah, I can't really give a good update, but off the back of those 2 days and like trying to peel that thing off my arm, I think it took like an inch of skin off my arm. So
yeah,
they are a good bit of gear. They're a little bit tricky to put on by yourself. Like they do recommend to sort of take off half the adhesive and then put half of it on and then peel the rest of the adhesive off. But when you've only got one hand, that's a little bit tricky. So when I did it on Monday morning, I just peeled the whole backing off and just stuck it on, and it's holding up. Like it's pretty good. It's the tan color.
Okay.
So it
Actually
covers it really
blends in.
nicely.
I
Yeah,
think
it does.
The color is actually Braden's skin color. That must be
Yeah. Like if I go back here,
that must be the Pantone color they chose.
yeah, white. So yeah, it's going good. So I changed that on Monday. What's today? Tuesday. So it's been on there for a day and a half, and yeah, she's on there. Went for a run last night. It's still sticking strong. So happy days.
So, geez, the sensor problems continue.
Sensor problems continue. Yep. And because that one only lasted 2 days, I've lodged that one as well. But yeah, look, I'm not too sure what's going on.
Yeah.
Really, because it shouldn't be like this. Can't be normal.
No.
To be changing every 3 or 4 days. My last sensor before that one that lasted 2 days, I think I had geez, my stomach just went off then.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. I literally had the sensor updating alert pretty much the whole week. It was just vibrating all week saying sensor updating. It would come back in and work for like half an hour, and then it would do that again for the next 3 hours. And like, I don't know if that was just the one that was in my arm, but that was really painful, like just annoying. So not too sure what's happening, to be honest with you, but am getting a little bit over it.
Yeah, so fair.
To be honest, yeah.
Over submitting warranty form after warranty form.
Well, that's the other problem. I'm a bit worried they're going to turn around and be like, what are you doing? Are you lying? Like, what is happening? But no, I'm not. So I'll see how this one goes. If this one lasts me a week, happy days. If it doesn't, then I might try and do something about it. That's me, really. I'm just hungry and I'm wasting away to nothing. And yeah.
Think
How's
of
your week?
all the snacks you are now allowed to catch up on tonight.
Yeah, all the catch-up snacks. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be eating like ice cream, gelato, salt and vinegar chips, you name it, I'll be into it.
All the things. You've got carbs to catch up on. But no, I'm good. High of my week, there must have been love in the air in Brisbane on the weekend because I went
Hey.
to a hens party on Saturday.
Ah, I did
So
see that. How
for
was
one,
that?
oh, so much fun. It was for one of my baby cousins, and I could probably, she listens to this podcast, so I can't call her my baby cousin, but my younger cousin, and it was just so wonderful. The theme was denim and diamonds, which is just the bride to a T. And
Nice.
yeah, we drank champagne, we had oysters. I tried caviar for the first time, which was wild.
How was
Um,
it?
dare I say
Give us a review.
overrated?
Okay. Yeah.
Fishy and mushy, but not
Oh, yuck.
unenjoyable. Does that make sense?
That sounds horrible.
I do love seafood, like any kind of seafood though. So I mean, I was having a good time. And just the most beautiful like bunch of girls. Like there's nothing like sometimes hens parties, I don't know if bucks parties are the same, but I tend to just kind of duck in and out of different hens parties events. I don't tend to stay for the whole time because
Mm.
sometimes if you don't know people, like I had some family who were at the hens, but I didn't. And I knew of, her friends, but it was just such a beautiful bunch of women. And yeah, loved spending a day just with
Yeah,
other
good.
awesome chicks, drinking
Yeah.
champagne, eating oysters in
That
our denim.
stuff.
Yeah. And then yeah, had a great little weekend in Brisbane. What's my low? I don't know. I'm burnt out. I'm burnt to the wall.
Mm,
I'm burnt to the
yeah.
what do they call, what's the analogy with candles? Like when you burn down.
Burning at both ends.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah.
My email inbox is just a mess at the moment. I've got like 200 emails. It doesn't matter how long I spend in there every day. They just keep going up. So I'm really sorry if anyone's waiting to hear from me. Don't get me started on our Instagram DMs. I've been
Oh,
neglecting
no.
them for way too long. And there's some really important messages in there. So I need to get back to
Ah,
those. But
yeah.
just feeling a little bit overwhelmed right now. But
That's fair.
it's only because like we're growing, right? Like we're doing really well as a business. But there just comes with some little caveats. So I'm just a little tired.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Mm.
Everyone go easy on Ash this week.
I thought you were about
Go
to be
easy.
like, everyone go send Ash an email.
Go slide in the DMs. Go on.
Please just give me a couple of days. If anyone really needs me, please call me. Our phone number is on the website if you need something desperately. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, like no complaints.
Yeah. I
Mm.
mean, I feel like it's that time of the year where everyone's been going gun ho for, the last 3.5 months.
Yeah. And there's just so much new stuff that's come out already this year, like the Dexcom and helping customers and patients transition, from the G6 to G7. That takes up a
Yeah.
lot of capacity. The Omnipod is the same. We've got customers trying to purchase Omnipod 5 when they haven't upgraded yet from the Dash. And now this week, I mean, this came out last week, the Freestyle Libre 2 Plus has just come out, which is super, super exciting. But I haven't bloody put it on the website yet, have I? So that's coming soon, and we'll share some information about how people can upgrade to that device soon.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's just so much happening, all super exciting stuff. I just wish I could kind of clone myself a little bit.
Yeah. One of those times where you need a couple of you.
Yeah, wouldn't that be scary though?
Oh, would be, yeah. That'd be terrifying.
Terrifying.
Ah. There you go. Take it easy on Ash this week. Maybe for the next month, actually. Just take it easy.
But before we finish our weekly updates, did you read any more of The Silent Patient?
Oh,
Don't let me
you
down,
know
Brayden.
what? I'm about to. I'm about to let you down. I thought about reading it on Sunday, but I was a little bit hungover and didn't have the brain capacity to read. So
Yeah, fair enough.
I was so tired and just like a train wreck.
Right.
So I planned on it, but did I execute the plan? No, sadly not.
Okay. Well,
Look,
the best of intentions, I suppose.
I guess we'll go double or nothing this week. So I'll read 2 chapters this week,
Mm-hmm.
and if I don't, then I don't know. We'll think of something.
Yeah, we'll think of something.
I'll read 2 by the time we record next week. How's that?
That sounds promising because from memory, they're really short chapters.
They are, yeah. Some of them are like 5 pages. So
Yeah.
I'm really hoping they're like really short chapters.
Okay, we'll check back in with you next week.
All right, thanks.
We have so much news this week. It's actually unreal.
Has been happening, eh?
There's so much happening. Like we
Yeah.
just talked about all the new products that are coming out, but I feel like diabetes is in the news more than usual at the moment. There's more
Yeah.
research coming out, and I think all of this is coming from there was some huge funding huge funding that was distributed end of last year, and just the presence of devices on people. I think we're just talking about diabetes now more than ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. There's a lot happening. I'll let you obviously jump into your news article, but
Yeah.
I've seen diabetes popping up a lot more in my Instagram feed lately, and a lot of great things happening. So it's a really exciting space.
So we're going to kick off with a YouTube video about the impact of diabetes on the lives of young adults. And this presentation came out of the Mayo Clinic in the US from the Care That Fits conference last year. And it only was just posted to YouTube after that conference this week. And this research is super, super interesting. So it's all about young adults with type 1 diabetes and just how much of a juggling act their lives are. So the researcher is the one presenting this research in this video, and we'll link it in the show notes. And Anchor talks about how this age group is already going through massive life changes, moving out of home, starting careers, dating. Some are even starting families. And then she kind of crafts this story about, now imagine layering diabetes management on top of all of that chaos. And so this research is predominantly looking at people aged 18 to 30. And it's no surprise that the study found that about half of young adults who participated in that research reported an unsustainable treatment burden, meaning they felt like keeping up with their diabetes care long term is just too much to handle.
Mm-hmm.
Do you resonate with that, Brayden?
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah. The last 2 weeks, you've told us that you've like thrown your sensor across the room, and it's just it's feeling like it's so unmanageable.
It's adding up at the moment, that's for sure. There's a lot happening in sort of my life, and this is not helping. So yeah, I can relate.
So the research scored a whole bunch of different areas of people's lives based on how people felt, and people in this age group, they scored pretty low on what they considered to be a good quality of life, especially around emotional well-being and daily activities. So basically diabetes is really interfering with both their moods and routines. What was also super insightful is that the research highlighted things that help, like having supportive partners. How do you love that segue into the part of podcast?
Yeah, I love that.
Building routines really helps, and also using tech like insulin pumps and glucose sensors. But side note, we have also seen that sometimes that can also add to the burden.
Yeah, could also be the user, but yeah.
Is there? But when life gets busy or unpredictable, like hectic workdays or emotional stress, diabetes management does tend to take a hit. Interestingly, they did also find that women reported a higher treatment burden than men, which sparked a conversation in the research about why that might be. There was also an interesting takeaway that showed that there was a correlation between greater incidence of mental health disorders and then also greater incidence of diabetes complications. And then it showed that if you have a mental health disorder, you're more likely to have diabetes complications. And if you have diabetes complications, you are more likely to have a mental health disorder. So it's kind of like a chicken and the egg situation.
Yeah.
But the takeaway is clear. Care plans need to be way more personalized and flexible, and they need to be designed to actually fit into young people's changing lives rather than being this overwhelming extra load.
Yep.
And I'm now taking that and making that the tagline of Strip Supply.
Yeah. That's really nice. I actually like that.
But yeah, I found that research super interesting, particularly focusing research on such a young age demographic, like 18 to 30. I often feel like that age demographic, because it's not generally diagnosis and then it's not generally the time when you're starting to get complications. And I kind of feel like this age group is forgotten about a lot of the time.
Yeah. It's just that busy period of life, isn't it?
Yeah, super, super busy and so much change.
Things get real.
Yeah.
I can definitely relate to that. Like I can completely understand why and how a lot of people would feel that way. You know, I think about there's a lot that happens in people's lives between that age, and then to also manage and maintain, you know, diabetes, but your body's also going through changes as well. A lot of your hobbies change, a lot like your schedules change, your routines change. So, you know, having been through that, I can completely understand it. And and even, still going through it now, I completely understand it. But I think what aids me and what aids probably a lot of people out there is the technology, and we really rely on the technology to make it as simple as possible. And, we're fortunate enough, as much as I complain about it, but we're fortunate enough to have these sensors and insulin pumps that talk to each other and almost single-handedly manage your diabetes. And it's things like that that really take a load off, a mental load. At the moment, obviously, I'm having a lot of sensor issues, and that's adding a mental load to me, which, has obviously led me to forget about my insulin and that sort of thing. But they're the things that we really rely on, because it does take just that one thing, that one extra thing off your plate, so that you can focus on, bit study, exams, assignments, going through, trade school, getting your apprenticeship, whatever it might be on the job site, playing social sports, that sort of thing, to make it as simple as possible. So really interesting research. And as you were saying it, it was sort of ticking in my brain as like, yep, I can understand that. Yep, I can understand that. I can understand that. So yeah, 100%. It's really interesting. And look, I think for anyone who's feeling overwhelmed, a good team is obviously vital. A good care team is really vital, and a plan. But I think if you can take one thing off your plate, be it, through the assistance of technology, I could not advocate more for it.
Love that. And you have a bit of news as well.
I do. So news out of the motherland here at the University of Queensland.
The mothership.
Where I am sitting right now.
Not sponsored, by the way.
No, not at all. Just happens to be a bit of research coming out of UQ. So some fresh research has found that gut microbiome, so basically the trillions of bacteria,
Bactivia, hey?
Bacteria.
Sounds like a name of a probiotic brand.
It does. Bacteria. Anyway, the trillions of bacteria living in our guts could actually help delay the onset of type 1 diabetes.
Very, very cool.
You might remember us talking about the Party for a Purpose event at UQ last year, which was raising money for type 1 diabetes research. Well, this is the research that was being funded, so that's super exciting.
Yeah.
The research, which was led by Professor Emma Hamilton-Williams, has discovered that certain gut bacteria seems to play a protective role by keeping the immune system in check. So what's super promising is that this could eventually lead to new ways to prevent or at least slow down the development of type 1 in people who are at high risk. So it's not a cure yet, obviously, but it opens the doors to future therapies that could target the gut to change the course of the disease. So it's one of those studies that feels like a glimpse of hope, maybe a little insight into the future, might lack a little bit of AI in there, but...
Yeah, just pop a pill.
Yeah, exactly.
Let your gut do the work.
Exactly. Shout out to the gut.
Shout out to the gut. Yeah, I can tell.
Maybe one day we'll have probiotics or treatments that could give more time before diabetes kicks in, so...
Just like a multivitamin cap or something.
Yeah, a little daily probiotic.
Yeah, instead
so
of a
that's really
shot.
Exciting. I see. A shot of what?
Insulin.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Obviously.
But yeah, no, that's really exciting stuff out of UQ here. So keep an eye out on that space and the research that's been done by Professor Hamilton-Williams.
So let's dive into today's episode, and it's part 2 of our Partner Pod series where we get an insight into type 1 from a whole new perspective, and that's through the eyes of your partners.
Oh, I'm keen for this one.
I bet you are. Everyone loved this episode last year, and I absolutely love it when people volunteer their boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands and wives to share their stories, to hear exactly how they support you guys through the good, the bad and the prickly.
Yep, absolutely.
So first off the bat, let's hear from Matthew.
My name's Matt. I'm 30 years old. I live in Brisbane, and my occupation is I am a COO, RTO, a registered training organisation. Brianna is my wife. We've been together for 10 years, married for 2 years. She's had type 1 diabetes for the entire time that I've known her. I believe she got type 1 when she was 14. I think I found out that she had type 1 diabetes probably the first day, maybe the second. She was on needles when we first met back in 2014. You can't really hide that too well. So especially when you're finger pricking 6, 7, 10 times a day. So naturally the question came, and I asked, "Oh, what's that?" And we talked about it. So, but I think it was either the first or it was the second day. I don't have a particular like biggest scare in terms of Brianna and her diabetes. She manages it really, really well. I know other diabetics that don't manage it very well, and I've seen some scares with them. But Brianna managed it very well. I do have a story. And so when I was proposing and planning to propose, and we were doing a hike up to where I was proposing, Brianna had to keep sitting down because her blood sugar was low. So there was a period of time we just had to like sit for like 20 minutes. And obviously I'm quite nervous. So we were sitting for like 20 minutes, waiting for her blood sugar to come up. It had gone quite low. So just bad timing, I think. I wouldn't find it to be a burden. No, she can't control something, that she has, you know what I mean? So I would say with diabetes, obviously you're sleeping beside them and it goes off in the middle of the night, that's not the funnest time, but you do get used to it, especially when you've been together with that partner for 10 years. I would say she's not a burden. It's not a burden. It's just probably the night time when you wake up at 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. and you've been sleeping, and it's just something you accept. It's not a burden though. I think having diabetes and Brianna having diabetes, it just changes perspective on life, and you don't take it for granted, and you want to make sure that you work hard for your partner, and you want to make sure that in later in life, they're comfortable. So I want to make sure that I work hard so that she can have the best private health insurance, and she can have whatever she needs, medicine-wise, insulin-wise, insulin pump-wise, whatever the case is. So I think the silver lining is you don't take it for granted. Just helps with focusing, I think, and enjoying life and getting the most out of it. Favorite way to support my partner. So obviously type 1 and type 2 is very different. So I don't give her a hard time in terms of what she eats. But if she has a bit of an attitude or she's in a bit of a mood, I'll have a joke with her and I'll be like, "Oh, is your blood sugar low, is it?" Yeah, I just had a joke with her about it. I would just say just keep things light. Don't take things too serious. So know as well how to inject insulin as well if they ever pass out. How to give them sugar really quickly as well if they do pass out the other way. So how to measure your hypo and your hyper as a partner. But overall.
Oh, what a beautiful human.
I love that. That was so great.
Oh,
I was cackling away to myself over here.
yeah, I absolutely loved that. And you might remember his wife, Brianna, has appeared on a Diabetes Diary episode before. And I believe she was in Rome when she recorded that one. Because Brianna and Matt have been traveling the world. And
that's right.
I love this mindset that they have that diabetes hasn't stopped them from doing anything.
100%.
It's changed their perspective on life, and they've
100%
made sure that they're getting the most out of life.
I love how they joke about it too. Like
The
he gives her the
diabetes
sass.
banter. Because
like
when
that, that hits me all too well. Like I know.
well, when you know it, you can just, the digs. Like obviously if your relationship has that kind of banter, but you know exactly what would annoy your partner, and asking someone if they're
it's just a little jab.
Yeah, it's a little jab.
Oh, that's too good. Thanks so much for sharing.
Absolutely nailed it. Thanks for sharing that one. And now, Brayden, we have a very special Partner Pod submission.
Oh, God.
Because I was sitting down organizing this Partner Pod episode, and I was like, you know who I would love to hear from?
Who?
A little someone called Emma.
Oh, no.
And so here we have, straight from the horse's mouth, Braden's partner, Emma, has
Oh,
shared
God.
a submission with us. Let's hear it. I can't wait. You haven't heard
Strap
this
in.
yet.
No, I have not. This is terrifying.
Well, let's see. Let's see what dirty secrets she has.
Oh, no. Here we go.
Hey guys, my name's Emma. I'm 30 years old and I am currently in Brisbane. I'm originally from Canada and I'm a registered nurse. I'm currently working here in the city in theaters. And just a little bit of gossip for the pod, I am Braden's partner. I have wanted to do a voice memo for you guys for ages. And this week I actually just went on by fluke to record my note and saw that you guys were asking for stories from partners, and this seemed like the perfect time. So here I am. It's me. So Braden and I have been together since December. He has obviously been type 1 diabetic since he was 12, so that's more than half of his life. And I feel like I don't really need to tell you guys much about him as a person, because all of his yapping on the pod has kind of told you everything that I would need to. So that's Braden. I have been racking my brain trying to remember how I found out that Braden was diabetic, and I honestly cannot tell you. I really don't know. I might have seen on his Instagram in his bio a link to the pod and kind of put two and two together, but it was never some big conversation. It never came up as some taboo topic. On our first date, we had gone out to get some food, as most people do, and I don't remember him bringing out his pump at all or bringing it up. It never really came up in conversation at all, and not because he was trying to hide it or that it was secretive, but it just didn't feel like it was a big deal at all. I think we had spoken about it as well, but I just don't remember how the conversation originally came up. And on our second date, we had gone swimming, so I do recall seeing his infusion set on his stomach when we had gone swimming, but by that time, it never really felt like there needed to be some like big unveiling. It was just known information and it was just no big deal. I do not want to jinx this, and I'm going to call ourselves very lucky here and knock on some wood that I don't feel like I've seen a big scary diabetes moment yet. There's been a few smaller ones, and I don't know if it's because I'm in medicine and I'm quite comfortable with medical conditions that it doesn't feel scary or unknown, but there's only been a few instances that I've kind of realized how much of an impact it can have on his life. Obviously, a very common one for, I would think, most partners is seeing your partner really spacey when they have a low level. And I can kind of tell by his voice or like his inability to concentrate on something, or if we're just like having a conversation and I ask a question, he's just a little bit spaced out when he's a little low. So sometimes that can be just like slightly alarming. And then I would say that the second big-ish scary moment actually happened this past weekend. He had put in an order at the chemist and had not got a text that he was ready to pick the order up. So we had no idea if his stuff was actually at the chemist or not. And we had gone running on Sunday morning, as athletes do, and he realized that his infusion set had fallen off and we actually had zero left at home. Zero. So he's like, we got to go to the chemist on the way home from where we were running. And so we did, and we were watching the girl behind the counter try to look for his order and actually couldn't find it. So we just kind of looked at each other for a minute and no words were said. I mean, like, it was a Sunday, and what else are you going to do? It's not like you can really just go to another chemist because you've got to order it in. It's not like you can just borrow someone's. So I think we just both knew there was no reason to panic until there was a reason to panic. Until she came out and said it wasn't there. We just kind of waited with bated breath. But she ultimately walked out with the boxes and everything was fine. But I would say that's probably one of the scarier diabetes moments that we've had. So I would never dare to say that diabetes is a burden. Obviously, it's not me living with T1D, but I don't find that having someone in my life that I spent the majority of my time with having T1D is a burden whatsoever. But there are definitely a few hard moments. And I think it's not necessarily about eating or exercise or managing the actual diabetes as a condition, but it's more just watching Braden be frustrated with some things that come up sometimes. So the frustration around having to replace his sensors. I think everybody here is very familiar with his sensor issues, and with all the exercise he's doing and how friggin' sweaty he gets, I find that it's happening a couple times a week when it should be just once a week. So that can be pretty frustrating. And obviously with his infusion sets falling off, same issues. Like, it's mostly just watching him get irritated with dressings that don't stick, replacing sensors that are not reading, and sometimes if his level just keeps going up. Obviously there's a few ways that we troubleshoot that, and he's like trying to decide if maybe the infusion set isn't in well or isn't in a good spot, and that usually resolves the problem. But it can be a little bit annoying for him, and I just feel a little bit helpless sometimes, not being able to fix any of those things for him. And I think another, for lack of a better term, burden is him having bad sleeps, because sometimes it's not just about putting a new infusion set on or resolving a level. It's if he has a bad night and his pump is going off a lot, or he has a few lows, or whatever it might be, like having a bad sleep really trails on into the next day, because then he's like pretty lethargic and fatigued, and obviously that impacts his mood at work or his ability to exercise. And so I think it's mostly just the snowball effect of some of the hurdles that he has to like overcome. But never once would I say it's a burden. Like, diabetes has never stopped us from going anywhere or doing anything or trying any food or any type of experience. It's not taken away from any of our amazing moments, and it's absolutely not something that comes between us. So I actually really like these last two questions. I feel like they're a bit of a positive spin on being a partner to somebody who has a chronic condition. And I just had so many different things that I wanted to say about this. I didn't really know where to start. But I think one of the biggest silver linings that diabetes has brought for me and us as a couple is the respect that I have for Braden, for his like resilience and perseverance for someone with a chronic condition. I tell him as often as I possibly can how proud I am of him, and he always asks, for what? And how do you sum that up? Just watching someone live their life in a way that you know you will never fully understand because you're not the one actually experiencing it is just something that is so commendable. And I hope he does know how much of an impact he has on the community and how much I respect that about him. A few of the things that diabetes has brought us, and I guess me, is lots of knowledge. Like, Braden is very knowledgeable about the diabetes world, and because I come from a nursing background, it's something that I'm actually really interested in, and watching him firsthand experience all these things makes me think about diabetes in a completely different way. And I've definitely thought about things that I've never really even considered before, like in my whole life. And I guess the last silver lining that diabetes has brought us is when he's having a low overnight and I wake up and, hear the lolly package crinkling, and I always ask for a cheeky little late night life support lolly. So sometimes I get to dabble in the snacks as well. But yeah, there's definitely silver linings to it. So last but not least, my favorite way to support my partner, I think, is just trying to be involved and not make it something that he feels like is a burden to us, or make diabetes like taboo. So I have kind of made it my personal mission to find some sort of sticky dressing that makes his infusion set and his sensor actually stick to his body despite all of the sweat and all of the activity. So we've got a handful of different things that we try, and I have quite an experience with different types of dressings from work. So that's kind of been a fun little mission. Not making a big deal out of things that might feel like a setback to him. Asking questions and being involved. And obviously I'm just keen to learn, just from like a medical standpoint. But of course I want to learn more about him and how he likes to handle certain situations and deal with certain experiences. So those are kind of the ways that I try to just be there for him. Obviously listening to the pod, I've been listening to you guys since the day I met Braden. So I always have a good laugh, and I'm trying to catch up. I'm listening to all the episodes in order. So I think those are my favorite ways to support him and you guys and Strip Supply. And I have a couple content ideas to send your way, Ash. So get ready for those. And it's been fun chatting away. And I hope to get to talk to you guys again. Thanks.
So it's really like becoming my thing to surprise you with voice notes that make you emotional.
Oh my God.
Oh, how lovely was that? I mean,
Bless. She's great. She's such a good egg.
Such a good egg. She can stay.
Yeah.
Two
Yeah.
things to kick us off. One,
Mm-hmm.
I love that she speaks as fast as I do. I'm so here
Oh
for
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
She is a
Yeah.
runner. I love it.
Sometimes I need a translator.
And number two, Brayden, why
Yes.
have you not signed up to Strip Supply yet?
Can I just say, okay, so obviously this was recorded
This was a
a
little while
couple
ago.
of weeks ago.
Yeah.
The issue is that I use a lot more of those sites than the regular Joe because I sweat so much and am so active. And like, I never used to have as many problems with my old silhouettes, but the thing was they were a lot bigger. The sticky part was a lot bigger. And with the new extended ones, they're really pretty small. So there's not much surface area, I suppose, to stick on there. So I tend to use at least a couple a week, and they only come in a box of 5. So, like when I go to the chemist, I'm like, oh, can I order at least 2, please? And that lasts me, a month or 2, maybe max, when it should be lasting me, 10, so 3 months, 3 and a bit months.
Dude, you can buy 2 boxes a month from me.
Yeah, I could. I could, actually.
Emma, let's
Could
work
I?
on this.
Could I? Yeah.
Yeah. Emma,
Actually?
let's work on
Hang
this. Well, we'll grind them down. No,
Yes.
I absolutely
Bless her.
loved Emma's voice note. Do you remember how you told her about diabetes? Do you remember the first conversations you had?
No, I actually don't. And I think it must have been from my Instagram bio because I do have the pod in my Instagram bio. And I think she might have just seen that and potentially asked if I was diabetic or seen me post something about it, possibly. It, like she said, it wasn't a big conversation that we had. And the second time that we saw each other, we were swimming. So,
Kind of hard to hide.
yeah, hard to hide, but also didn't feel like it needed to be hidden. And it never really became anything that I guess that we really spoke too much about. Obviously now it's intertwined in our conversations and stuff like that. But yeah, it was never a big sort of reveal, I suppose.
But I love what she said around she's starting to pick up like your tells of being low. Like I'm a big believer in, I think everybody has very specific hypo tells. Gold stars for no big diabetes events just yet. But I am surprised that she can tell the difference between normal you and low you, which is apparently spacey you.
Yeah. I was sitting here thinking, well, that's nice. She doesn't think I'm spacey all the time.
Yeah. But I can absolutely resonate with the feeling of being helpless. I think that is a point that almost every partner comes back to. It's really hard to sit back into watch your partner going through something that's so frustrating and exhausting and just really not being able to do anything but be there.
Yeah, and can I just say too, like, she is the most supportive partner and the most supportive person I think I've ever met. And I'm not just saying this. I genuinely think that because she does. She tells me that she's proud of me all the time, and I literally respond with, "What for? Like, what do I do?" And I mentioned it a few podcasts back about how we were talking about the extra 180 decisions, and she actually sat me down. Like, we were driving home, and she was talking to me about that, and she was like, "This is where I got that conversation from." She said, "You probably haven't thought about how much that is, and how much that impacts you." And like, I really hadn't, and that's why I brought it up on the pod a couple of weeks ago because it really hit home to me. But she's great. Like, she buys me lollies. Like, she knows, what to get, and she'll be the first person to go out of her way for me. So yeah, so she's a good egg, and from the medical background, she's got a bit of an understanding, but yeah, she's probably just just bless her. She's the best.
Oh, what a keeper. And
Yeah.
I love, one of the perks of being a partner of someone with diabetes is the midnight lollies. If your
Oh my
partner's
God.
having one, you're absolutely allowed to have one too. That's
The
the
number
rule.
of times she's like, "Can I have a lolly?" I'm like, "If I die, this is on you."
Does she pick all the best ones out of the party mix?
She loves to. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Loves to have. She's like, don't give me a bad one.
No, that
I'm
could ruin
like,
the
well,
relationship. Is that what you want to go down over?
it could ruin my life. Yeah, no, she's a little snack fiend, so
Yeah.
she loves when my level's low and she can get her little fingers into my lollies. Yeah.
And I think she touched on this, and one of the most underrated pieces of advice that I think people don't give partners enough, or any kind of carers or support people of people with diabetes, parents included. And something that I've heard is just one of the best ways to support someone with diabetes is just not making things a big deal.
Mm.
When things get tough, when shit happens, just not making them a bigger deal than they need to be.
Yeah.
Because if you bowl this incorrectly, you're probably already beating yourself up about it. You don't need your partner to do that too. You don't need any extra stress in that moment. And yeah, I love that she touched on that, because I always think that's a really underrated piece of advice.
Yeah, and it definitely is, and I can tell you, it has a huge impact. So she just supports instead of, kicking me down. See, the lights did just go out actually, so it must be time to get out of here. But
Yeah. If anyone's not watching this on YouTube, Brayden is basically completely in the dark right now.
I'm in the dark.
We're clearly recording too late.
It's 6 p.m. But no, yeah, she's great for that. She understands exactly what I'm going through, and instead of kicking the can a little bit further, she'll support me and back me. So really do appreciate that.
Yeah, Emma, thanks for sending in that voice note. Let's chat. I want to hear these content ideas. I want to hear
dear.
how we're going to embarrass Brayden next. I think it's going to be epic. It's
Yeah,
going to be epic
what's
for
next?
TikTok. And I think if we grind Brayden down from both ends, then we'll get him to sign up to Strip Supply before the end of 2025.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just totally resigned to it now.
I'm sitting in the dark.
You're sitting in the dark. We've got to go.
It's all happening.
But anyone
Beautiful.
listening, if you would like to volunteer your partner for our next Partner Pod episode, we'll leave a link in the show notes to submit their story.
That was fun. Yeah, thanks for sending that in,
That was fun.
Dals.
Well, that's all we've got time for today. As always, this episode was brought to you by Strip Supply, Australia's first diabetes subscription box. And by the way, Aldi home brand chicken noodles are the elite noodle brand. I know you've been
Ooh.
wondering this whole episode.
LD home brand.
Aldi home brand. They are the
Wow.
best. I've tried them all.
Huge.
I cannot stress to you enough that I've tried every brand of noodle.
Well, I'm out of here. I'm going to go get some insulin into my pump and get some food into my belly. So we'll be back in your ears next week. Until then, tell diabetes to get pricked. Let's get some lights on in here.
Strip Supply acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we have recorded this podcast on. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging.